Hello, I'm Jordan. I wanted to talk a little bit today about agnosticism in honor of Maybe Midrash, which is a fantastic booktube event created by Jason over at Old Blues Chapter and Verse. I think this is the second year that it's been going on, and one thing that has struck me in watching the videos this year is that it seems to me that agnosticism is very underrepresented. There are plenty of believers and there are plenty of atheists, but as far as I know, or as far as I've seen, Rick McDonald, who is one of the hosts this year, is the only person who considers himself an agnostic. Um, so I just kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in and say that I too consider myself an agnostic. And for me, it's not a casual thing, it is an active belief or lack thereof. I have made a conscious choice to reserve judgment on the question because to me that seems like the most rational approach. Because as I understand it, atheism is based on the assumption that material reality is the only reality, which is an unprovable claim, in the same way that God is an unprovable claim. So atheism, I would argue, is a leap of faith, in the same way that belief is a leap of faith. And that's totally fine. I mean, I don't want to judge either side at all, but I think perhaps we should start to acknowledge that, at least I think we should start to acknowledge that atheism is a leap of faith. And like I said, I have no dog in the race. I haven't made a decision either way. Part of the reason I consider myself atheist, or excuse me, I consider myself agnostic, is because I like to keep all those avenues open. It's a deadly serious subject for me, and I don't want to dabble in religion, and I don't want to subscribe to some kind of wishy-washy new age spirituality. But I'm also not really tempted to leap towards negation, because if I were going to make a leap of faith, I think I would probably leap towards belief in God, as opposed to a leap towards negation, which seems to me personally to be kind of a wasted leap. Because the thing is, I think we take for granted that it's extremely astonishing that anything at all exists, and it's even more astonishing that life exists, and it's even more astonishing that consciousness exists. It is a profoundly weird thing. It borders on the miraculous, I think. And I'm not saying that scientific materialism denies that. Certainly there's plenty of room for wonder and beauty in scientific materialism and in atheism. It's just that for me, I guess aesthetically, a divine source for reality is more appealing than kind of the bare bones, everything came from nothing approach. Like I said, I'm not trying to choose sides or put down either side. I think they're both leaps of faith, but I don't think either one is more right than the other, per se. I will say that in my life, I have considered myself a believer, and I have also considered myself an atheist at different points in my life. So I have 2 failed commitments, and part of the reason I like to keep the avenues open is I don't want to. Next time I make a decision, I want it to be for real. But I'm also totally fine with not making the decision. I think keeping that reserve it just works for me, at least at this point in my life. And there's one other thing I wanted to bring up. Steve Donahue, in his Maybe Midrash announcement video, made the kind of controversial claim that every believer knows what it's like to be an atheist. I won't comment on that. I'll leave that to the actual believers out there to address that if they wish. But I would argue that it goes both ways. I would say that every atheist knows what it's like to have faith. And what I'm talking about is morality, moral truths. Whether or not you believe in objective morality, I would argue that when you see something wrong, let's say cruelty, when you witness cruelty, you have a visceral, almost physical response of outrage and repulsion. And at that moment, you believe that what you're seeing is wrong, unequivocally, objectively wrong. You have faith in objective morality at that point, at that moment. Whatever your rational views are outside of that moment. So, like I said, I would argue that every atheist, or almost every atheist, does know what it's like to have faith and engages in acts of faith or in beliefs, in faith-based beliefs, on a fairly regular basis. So, let me know what you think of that, and let me know what you think of things in general. I'd love to hear about anyone's beliefs, atheism, agnosticism, or if you have faith, in particular if you have faith, because I find it a fascinating subject, particularly hearing people's experience with it. So please let me know, and if you think that it's inappropriate for a YouTube comment, feel free to email me. I will leave my email in the description box. So anyways, yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.